This is Let's Get Ugly, where no topic is off limits. We're Trish and Disha, two sisters, beauty and fashion experts, and entrepreneurs.
And we're talking to creatives, experts, and people we admire about the ideas, experiences, and conversations shaping culture and them right now.
Tara, welcome to Let's Get Ugly.
Hello. Hi, ladies.
You've built such a multifaceted career, and we can't wait to talk to you about it because it's been fashion, branding, design, events. The list goes on, especially with the new expansions that you're planning. And we're just excited to talk to you about how everything's come together because it's so fascinating.
Thank you.
You also have an amazing fashion sense and the little details and all the quirks, and I just absolutely love them. So we definitely will be deep diving into that. You have an impeccable level of style and taste, and you really do also champion designers and brands from all over the world, but specifically the Middle East, and I think it'd be a great conversation to have. So on that note, you've lived everywhere. Paris, New York, London, and have Persian roots. How has your multifaceted background shaped your eye?
Well, thank you for the introduction, first of all. I think, I think living in all these different places has really trained my eye in a way and inspired me in so many different ways. Paris, New York, London, they're big cities, but they're all so very, very different. I think I would say Paris was more sensitive to, style and beauty and elegance. And then New York was, more rough. And I think I was very inspired by the energy, the chaos, and also gave me a lot of confidence. I think it really shaped me as a person because I moved there when I turned 18, right after high school for university. I moved to New York, lived there for 8.5 years, and then moved to London. And London is just like a mix of everything. And then my Persian roots. I consider when people ask me where I'm from, I actually say that I'm Persian. I feel very, very Iranian. The culture, the tradition, and I think there with that I'm more sensitive to culture, identity, geometric shapes, colors, spice. And when I say spice, I don't mean like spicy food. I mean everything else. And so I have a very eclectic approach to things. When it's my style, I have a really hard time just wearing a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. I'm more of a maximalist rather than a minimalist. I just like to have fun with things. My house is also that way, which drives my husband crazy sometimes. But I like having a mix of things. And I've been very lucky to travel a lot, so I have little pieces of all the travels everywhere I've been. So it's quite like a fun mixture of everything. So I think my multicultural background and all these different places where I've traveled and lived have really shaped my eye and my sensitivity to things, like the way I approach things. Whereas it's design, bringing people together, or I don't know, even just being a mother and a wife. Yeah.
Definitely. I feel like on the kind of topic of taste and style. What is your current fashion inspiration? Because it's quite bright today, and it looks gorgeous. So talk us through it. How did you piece it together?
So this is a brand that I love called Yomi. She focuses only on blazers, and as you can see, shoulder pads. I'm quite petite, so I feel like it always gives a bit of strength. It makes me feel powerful. Not gonna lie, it's a statement piece. I have, I think, 10 different blazers from her. She's French, and you can see she does these like really cool kind of retro vintage buttons. And then I like to I always have my rings with me. Never take them off, and then with the makeup I put a little like blue touch. but yeah, I like to have fun with my wardrobe. I would love to do something with my wardrobe one day. Just like show my, like, I have a huge collection of blazers and like just jackets and coats. And they each have, a story. Yeah, I would love to showcase that
That
one day.
sounds fun.
Would be so fun. But obviously, like, aside from your amazing taste that you have such a multifaceted career. You've worked across publishing, fashion, branding, design, and events. Not sure if I missed anything
Yeah,
out
no,
there. But how did you move between these worlds? Because it feels like it all kind of intertwines and you've made it work for you, which is amazing.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. I guess from the age of 16, I always knew I wanted to go into the arts, design. I wanted to go to art school. I come from a very creative family, so I was always encouraged in that sense. So from 16, like I went to Rhode Island School of Design, RISD, just close to New York, doing majoring in graphic design for like a month and a half in the summer. And then the following summer, so a year before I graduated from high school, I went to Yale University and did, again, graphic design and also SAT, because I was just preparing for my application to go to the States for university. And then I applied to several schools, and I really wanted to go to Parsons in New York City, which was not my mother's first choice because she really wanted me to have more of like a campus experience. So like not in a city. And also New York is quite intense. So, 18-year-old, like, by herself is a bit intense. But I have my uncle who's been living there for a long time. So I think that reassured her. But yeah, and then so I studied communication design at Parsons. And throughout the 4 years of my education there, I did so many different internships to kind of see what I liked because graphic design is so broad. So I did an internship at Gagosian Gallery, at Chanel, this big advertising company. I can't remember what it was. And then when I graduated, I came to London, and I did an internship at Dazed and Confused. Then I was like, okay, I want to work in publishing. Like I just loved, playing around with typography and imagery. So when I came back to New York, I did the internship at Dazed and Confused for 3 months. Came back to New York and applied for my first job at Interview magazine, and I got it, and it was amazing. The offices were in Soho. I just felt like the world is mine. Like it was a very exciting like first job. I got to do so many cool things. And then I did a bit of freelancing for like branding. I designed like a online magazine for Kiehl's. Did a bunch of different things, and then I had this opportunity to become the art director of the Gentleman's Journal. They had just launched. This is in 2015, I think. So that's one of the reasons why I moved to London. And so yeah, I became the art director, and it was kind of carte blanche because the magazine was just new. So I, designed the whole magazine. I had a team with me, and it was really exciting. It's kind of a world that I wasn't too familiar with, like yachting and what do they call it? Like shooting, yeah, shooting and all that kind of stuff. Very English. There was a bit of fashion also, but it was really like men's lifestyle. And I adore the editor in chief, Harry Jarman, and also very thankful to him for giving me that opportunity. So I think I did that for about like 3 years or something, and then I got to a point where my husband also was like starting a new business. So I think we both together kind of like uplift each other and like we were encouraging each other. And I always wanted to have my own brand. So I started drawing handbags. And I did, all the research behind it. I don't have an education in that. So, I was doing my little like 2D drawings. And so I had to find a design studio and then like all the, production in Italy, all that. So I launched my brand of handbags in the summer 2017. Moda Operandi launched it. And then, I'm very thankful to that period and very humble by it. But it was a very different time. It was pre-COVID, so like Net-a-Porter, Selfridges, Browns, honestly, you name it, they all bought my first collection. I was unknown. I was a new designer. Today it's very different, very, very, very different. Things have completely shifted. But yeah, it was really exciting. I did that for, oh, I don't know. To be honest with you, I just really fell out of passion because, oh my God, production is such a shit show. Sorry, can I say like bad
Yes,
words?
yeah.
I cursed a lot. So, yeah, it was really a fucking shit show. I was going to Italy like once a month. It was so tiring. I don't know how to delegate, so I was doing everything by myself. I was like, selling, I don't know, like thousands of bags to all these retailers all around the world, doing everything myself. I had one assistant, but I didn't have a project manager. I didn't have. I got a PR, thankfully, because I had a lot of attention. I think that also helped a lot. Social media. I have a lot of all these cool girls around me that were wearing the bag, so they gave a lot of visibility to the brand also. So yeah, I mean, it was amazing. But then I got pregnant, and then COVID happened. And so when I gave birth 2 months after COVID happened, and I was just delivering my SS20 collection, and I was like, okay, this is enough. Like, I think this is the perfect occasion, perfect excuse, COVID, to just close, just silently, like silently close the business and just, yeah, like I really fell out of passion for it. I still I miss designing, definitely, but just the whole everything else, the whole
Yeah.
like production. You're wearing like 10 different hats, and I think it's good to do it that way, because you learn so much. But if I had to redo everything, oh my God, I would do things totally differently. And I'm like such a yes girl, so I was just saying yes to everything. And like this, retailer were like, yeah, can you make 20 red bags, but then like 40 blue bags? And I was like, yes, yes, yes. I mean, oh my God, that is like such a crazy thing to do with like minimum orders and things like that. I was really like shooting a bullet in my foot, but I was just saying yes to everything. I was so excited. But anyway, it was amazing, and it gave me a lot of visibility. I mean, my brand, me as a person also. So I think, what happens after, like, really, it was just like a continuing path. Yeah, and then I got pregnant. My kids are 2 years apart, so then I got pregnant again, and like, I took some time off, and then I just. It's funny. It was just a girlfriend of mine, a very good friend of mine, who's launching her brand, and she asked me if I knew any PRs, if I could, if I could introduce her to somebody who could put together like an event to promote her platform. And I was like, wait, I know a lot of people. I can do it for you, and I know a lot of restaurant owners, this and that, so I could get a good deal also, because she didn't have such a big budget. And I was like, yeah, let me do it. So I did it. I gathered like 30 women, female founders, stylists, content creators, editors, and yeah, I communicated about it on social media. Everyone else did. They're like, yeah, Tara Zadeh hosted this, da, da, da. And then it's just like, yeah, I guess domino effect. That's how it started. It's been a good 4 years now, and I love it. And my husband always says it was my natural. It's a natural thing. Like I don't know how to say it, but I just love bringing people together, creating like a special moment that's aligned with the brand aesthetically and all that. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Yeah.
I feel like the Tara Zadeh events and dinners are famous in our household.
Yes,
For sure.
of course.
They
Glad to hear
definitely
that.
are. I mean, it's from a variety of different brands or people we know, and it just is such an amazing signature. But
Yeah.
I love how fearless you are. Because I have to say, going through that many career changes would scare an average person. But you have literally jumped leap of faith after leap of faith. Can you tell us a little bit about what keeps you going?
Yes, I think it's things that I just felt really comfortable also. And they're all kind of under the same umbrella in a way. I'm not going from like tech to finance to fashion. They're they're all, I think, related to fashion and lifestyle. but I do have an amazing like support system. My family, my husband are very supportive. I have very supportive friends also. I mean, if I didn't have the support, I would like, for my events especially, if I didn't have such supportive friends and people in the industry, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. I work with a lot of emerging designers, unknown designers that are just launching their brands. So it feels really special to me that when people show up, I know it's because they want to support me and they trust the brands that I put forward. So yeah, like without the support, I mean, I'm nothing. I can't, wouldn't be able to do what I do. So yeah, definitely, I think it's because I feel the support of all these people.
And I think that's what makes it so incredible. And the way that you put up events and are always so memorable to see. What's the first kind of detail that you focus on when you're planning an event for a brand?
So the first thing is the vibe. I'm all about the vibe. And I guess depending on the brand, if it's a jewelry brand, where they're from, if it's fashion brand, beauty brand, do I want to do something that's very sleek and minimal, or do I want it to be quite heavy in colors? Like it's really the vibe, and then I also immediately think of who I'm going to invite to make the moment memorable for the guests and for the client. I just, when I did a good job, of course, it's when the guests, they're like, I had such a great time. I met this person. I love discovering the brand, but also ultimately, when my client is happy, I feel like I've done a good job. So I would say the vibe.
Love that. Love that. And when you select brands, like how do you then decide that I'm going to go with you instead of you, for example?
Yeah. So I think it's quite personal, actually, because in the end, again, the people who come to my events, they support me, but they also trust what I'm putting forward. So it has to kind of be in line with my taste, I guess. To be totally transparent, yeah, like if it's a brand that's like completely out of my, aesthetic, or it would be brands that I personally like and would wear. Yeah, if that makes sense. Because otherwise I feel like I would lose credibility. I don't want to just cash a check. It's I've built this. I think building my career also, like it's based also on a lot of credibility. So yeah, I don't want to just be like a sellout. So I think it's a lot has to do with with my taste and my style, I guess.
I feel like you also work with a variety of different regions.
Yeah.
And I love that the vibe is so important. Could you maybe give us a contrasting example between, like, let's say, a European brand versus a Middle Eastern brand, and how you would approach the different luxury markets differently?
Yes. So I think it's interesting because I think the Middle East, I mean, the Middle East is very broad. Huh? There's so many countries and they're all very, very different. But I think ultimately they're very sensitive to identity and storytelling. And whereas I guess, and it's more of like I think in the Middle East particularly, I would say places like the Emirates, Dubai. I did like, I don't know, 10 events in Dubai last year. Before a lot of different brands, like Italian brands, Greek brands, Egyptian brands, Jordanian brands, whatever. But I think a lot has to do with storytelling, and also the Middle East is more curious. Like Dubai, they're more curious about what's like new and hype, and what the Parisian cool girl is wearing. Like they're whereas I feel like a few years ago it was different. It was more like the big brands, the big luxury brands, and more now it's more about quiet luxury. That's what I would say the difference would be. I mean, the big change, let's say, in the industry, in the market.
I mean, it's definitely interesting that, like, in the Middle East now, they're preferring the more minimalism, as you mentioned.
I think so.
But what about if you're bringing a Middle Eastern brand to Europe? How
Yes.
do you translate that?
So that's the thing. So I think the Middle East is always looking at what's happening in Europe. So like I always say, Paris, it's the fashion capital of the world, okay?
Yeah.
Like I get asked to do pop-ups and trunk shows a lot, and I always prefer to do them in London because there's a bigger spending power, same as in Dubai. In Paris, it's more about like the prestige, it's being relevant. You did something in Paris, it brings up a lot of relevance. Um, and like I just did an event during Paris Fashion Week for a beautiful Egyptian brand. It just, it brings them a lot of relevance. And then, in the Middle East, they're going to be like, oh, wow, she did something, she did an event with all these like really cool Parisian based stylists and content creators and editors. And it's gonna bring a bit of hype for the brand. So I think bringing a Middle Eastern brands to Europe ultimately helps the Middle Eastern brands um, bring more visibility to them and more of like a cool hype side, more relevance. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. I mean, with a lot of the luxury brands in the Middle East that you work with, what do you think they bring to the region, well, this region, to Europe, that European luxury brands don't particularly have?
Oof, that's a hard one. I don't know if I can. The thing is that when I had my brand, I'm based in London. I did everything, designing here, producing everything in Italy. But ultimately, it was super important for me to be recognized as an Iranian designer. I've never lived in Iran. I'm like a total foreigner for them. My cousins always tell me, like, even from a mile away, from the way you walk, I can tell you're not from here. I'm like, okay. I speak Farsi. I speak it fluently, but I have a little bit of an accent. But anyway, I don't know. It was very important for me to be recognized in Iran as an Iranian designer. I don't know, because I think it's important. I think it's I don't know. I think it's important. It's meaningful. It's about the story again, the storytelling, and the inspiration also. So because there's some people I'm always like, you need to say where you're from. Like be proud and
it.
like own it.
Yeah.
Like say that you're Egyptian, say that you're Jordanian. Like these are beautiful cultures, like strong identity, and ultimately it's part. Maybe it's not part of their story though. Like maybe the brand has nothing to do with the with the country and the culture, but I don't know. I just think it's like always like an added value to me. I love knowing where where the founder is from, like their background. I don't know. It just makes the conversation more interesting, I think. Yeah.
I think it does, especially all of us being so third culture. It's always
Yeah.
exciting for all of us to be like, yeah, this is from there. And it's like, oh, wow. And they're
It's
from
cool,
here and there. And
yeah.
it brings it all together. It makes
Yeah.
a really interesting story. I
Yeah.
guess there's more history rooted in maybe color as
Yeah,
well that
absolutely.
might kind of bring into the
It's
conversation.
more diverse, yeah.
For sure. But you also shared with us that you're working on a furniture collection.
Yes, I don't know if I can say this. I have to tell you after if I'm allowed to talk about it. But no, I can start talking about it a little bit.
When is it happening? I guess
September.
So it was supposed to happen now during. It was supposed to happen now during Salon des Mobiliers, but it's not ready at all.
Okay.
So my best friend Aurélien Caudal, who's an amazing fashion photographer, and also he designs these beautiful backgammon tables in onyx and marble, and so he's put together a collective of creatives. So not furniture designers at all, but just creatives. So there's me, there's a stylist, there's a photographer, there's a jewelry designer, there's a fashion designer. So we're all like creatives, but we haven't done anything per se in furniture, and yeah, we each of us have designed a collection. So it's kind of a capsule collection, I would say. And so I've designed like a side table, a console, a little chair, poof. I don't know how we call it, like a little, yeah. And then I've done like, candle holders, things like that, things where you put your soap, whatever. So they all had to have marble some way incorporated in the design. And so all my designs are done, but it's so funny because I don't have a background in this. So I did things and they're like, oh my God, this is going to be like, you really want to sell a 10K side table? I'm like, no. no, I want it to be a bit more affordable than that. So it's a lot of back and forth. I think the artisans, they're all in Turkey. So we're like working on like how to, make it work. So that is supposed to be launching in September during a Paris Design Week. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, and that's
And
going to be really exciting. Yeah.
another very exciting new venture for you is the
Yes.
start of your podcast for your platform,
Yes.
Zanai.
Yes. So I didn't mention that. Yes. So that is a passion project that my co-founder and I, she's my good friend, Nika, she has the brand Paradise Row. We actually met during London Fashion Week. So she does leather goods, and so I had my brand also, and so we meet. So I think my for Iranians, my name is quite Persian. So she's like, "Oh, you're Iranian." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, me too." I said, "Oh my God, amazing." And she's like, "Oh, it's crazy to meet another, Iranian creative." I said, "Wow, really? Oh my God, that's all I know." It's so funny how people are, grew up differently, like different environments. I come from a very creative, family background, like friends of my family, whatever. So I was like, "Yeah, you're." Let's do something about this. So then this idea of putting together like a kind of a platform to talk about Iranian creatives, but focus on women
Yeah.
and like all about empowering Iranian women, celebrating Iranian women. So then we started during COVID a series of live interview. I think there was a lot of those
Yeah.
during that time. So we interviewed so many amazing people. Like, I mean, my two favorites are that I got to interview is, India Mahdavi. She's a very famous interior designer and furniture designer. Amanda Charshian, she's an amazing photographer. We interviewed so many people. Deborah Joseph, who used to be the editor in chief of Glamour UK. Anyway, we interviewed, I don't know, 30, 40 people maybe. So we took turns. Like 1 week I would do the interview, and then Nika would do it. And then we haven't done anything, sadly, in the last 2 years because we both were very busy with work and being a mom. She's also a mom of two. I'm a mom of two. And now, also, especially with everything happening in Iran, I think we're ready to get back on it and to, shine light on Iran, on the beautiful culture, on the amazing woman, and yeah, we thought of doing this podcast because live interviews is not so approachable. Like my parents don't have social media, for example, so I think podcast is a better platform. Easier to share. That's coming out soon. We're gonna start the interviews in the next few weeks. We have some amazing women lined up. So a lot of women, mainly in the diaspora, but also in Iran.
Amazing.
In the beginning, we were focusing on Iranian creatives. Sorry, Iranian women creatives, but like a niche and a niche and a niche is like a bit much. So we're just going to do Iranian women, because there's also so many amazing doctors, people in women in business. It's just that it's funny because this is where Nika and I we had a different upbringing. Like she was always like whereas. Sorry, I was always encouraged to, I wanted to go to art school from a young age.
Yeah.
I was always, encouraged to do that. And I felt really a huge support from my family. For Nika, it was very different. And that's actually the case, quite stereotypical, but it's quite the case for a lot of Iranians. Being a creative, like, I don't know, painting or singing or whatever, it's a hobby. You don't make money out of it, but you actually do. So that's why we interviewed all these amazing, successful women to inspire people and inspire the next generation.
It's going to be so incredible to hear all of their stories, and we can't wait.
Yeah, it definitely will be, and I think it'll serve as such a wonderful inspiration for young women across all cultures as well, because I feel like that's something that is often taken away, is like the power of creativity. And you're so right. Like people often love to say, "Oh, you're not going to make money doing that." It's actually so not true.
It's not true.
Yeah, it's not true at all. Or they don't understand what it is, so then they just never get it. But it'll be important, definitely, to shine that spotlight, make all these
I'm excited.
young girls.
Yes, it's like a passion project, and I feel like it's really it's important to do something like this. And I remember when I was doing it, when we were doing the interviews, like I don't want to just reach out to Iranian women. I want to. I mean, I want to inspire also non-Iranians. And like
Yeah.
a lot of my friends. I mean, maybe just because they were my friends. I don't know, but they're like, "Oh my God, this woman's journey was so interesting. I felt really like, empowered." And yeah, I think that's what we want to do. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, it'll be
Amazing.
great. But before you go, this has been such an inspiring chat. We have
Thank you.
3 quick fire beauty questions we ask
Yes.
every guest.
Yes.
All right. So, what's one beauty rule you love breaking?
Nails. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like, look at my hands. I look like a 12-year-old. Um, I guess, I don't know. Everyone is always like, "Oh my God, you don't have your nails done." Oh my God. I feel like it's just like such a thing. Like, women have to have their nails done. Like, that's kind of a rule, I guess. And I don't like to get my nails done. That's why I love Fete by Angela Lei. I love, and I usually always wear them like for an event or for a photo shoot, and then I just remove them because I don't like to have long nails, and I just think they need to breathe. So I guess this is a rule that I break. I guess if that makes sense.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally does. If you could give your younger self one piece of beauty advice, what would it be?
I think this is. I mean, I think it's quite stereotypical, but it's the sun damage. Um, I mean, I'm very lucky with my skin. I have good genes thanks to my mom. Strong Persian genes. I never have any breakouts or like whatever. And up until 2 years ago, I never used to cleanse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know it's really bad. And yeah, pigmentation. Like now, I used to never put anything on my face, no foundation, and now I have to put some foundation because of all the pigmentation. So like, it's not something to take lightly. I mean, I used to put like I don't know, like those oil to make you tan.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure it's damaged my skin like crazy. But yeah, I guess skin. Yeah, I mean they didn't have also back then like more. I mean I didn't used to even wear moisturizer, but like moisturizer with SPF. I don't know, it was not a thing.
Yeah.
I used to put like oil, to tan more. So yeah,
And what's a beauty moment, good or bad, that you will never forget?
getting my nose done.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, I got it. I got it done. Yeah, 3 months ago. So I think the nose reveal. I mean, it's still pretty swollen, but I think I don't think anybody thought I was ever gonna do it because it's funny. Throughout the years, like I'm Iranian, yeah. So and it's nose job nation.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it
really
is.
is.
really is.
Yeah.
And I had a strong nose, but it never bothered me. I mean, I'm turning 38 next week, so it took me a long time to get a nose done. But I think I was always surrounded by people who were like, "No, you look great," and my mom that was so against it also. And I didn't have money of my own to go get it done, secretly. So now I was like, okay, now is the time. I want to do it, and I'm really happy I did it. And yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Tara, thank you so much. This was such an interesting conversation, and it's rare to speak to someone who moves between so many different creative worlds, but has such a clear point of view and end goal like you.
Thank you.
For anyone listening, this is a reminder that you don't have to just pick a lane and stay in it. Sometimes the most interesting careers reveal themselves later down the line. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
You.
It was
Lovely
amazing.
meeting you.
You
Thank
too.
you. Thank
and
you so much.
that's a wrap.